Just as families expect their extended family to embrace this child, many families expect that their friends and acquaintances will validate their role as adopted parents as well. Most often this happens, but occasionally it does not. One particular sad story came to mind. There was a mother with two beautiful little girls. They were 3 and 4 years old. And she made the mistake of telling one of the women in her mother's group that the little girls had been sexually abused. What happened over time was really tragic for her. She stopped receiving invitations to mother groups meeting. She would ask mothers to have their little girls come over and play, and she was getting constant refusals. And so she became more and more isolated. Another story also comes to mind, and this has to the story of one young mom who was part of an adoption support group. She was a single mom, had adopted from, again, Guatemala, and her little 7-year-old was having difficulties. So one evening she was at a support group meeting, and after the meeting was over, she walked to the door. And as she did, the leader of the support group came by and stopped her and said to her, "I think it's a good idea if you don't come back." And here she had been kicked out of her own support group. I said she needed a support group for parents kicked out of support groups. And we laughed about that after the pain of it had lessened, but we talked about why it happened. And her son had been a problem in the child care, and she recognized that. But instead of saying to her, "Let's find a solution," they dismissed her. She said, "I don't have extended family in the area. I'm alone, and now I have no support group." I think if families find themselves in the midst of these lessening friendships, there are a number of things that they can do. I think number one is to manage their own emotional responses. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be angry, but to deal with those in a mature way. Secondly, I think to sitting down with those friends who are distancing themselves and talk with them about why this is happening. Not in a confrontive way, but to share what your needs are and what those of your children are. And sadly, the third option may be is that they're going to have to let some of these friendships go, particularly if these friendships are damaging the child's self-esteem and feeling of belonging within their own family.